All right, and we are live, I guess. Can everybody hear me?
Looks good.
Okay, there we go. We got noise now. All right. Once again, we had some trouble connecting to Facebook, so we are sharing on just YouTube and Twitch today. And if you missed us last week, this is the second part of the tree that we started building last week, is Silver Birch. And we kind of backtracked a little bit because we had put the leaves on the tree and done some PBR, but this session is going to be all about... This session is going to be all about seasons and setting up offsets and getting our textures and our leaves and all that set up. And then we're pretty close to the end of this tree after we get all that done. This part is a little tedious if you don't go through it without a little systematic system there. So the first thing we want to do is we want to just focus on one branch. And if you guys remember last time, we are using batch leaves. These are the faster leaves that you can't node edit, and these are going to really help you out on the VFX tree for time for running. And we made our mesh cutout last week, and I haven't shaped these again. I think we backtracked a little bit. So these are flat and ugly right now, and that's okay. We're just going to kind of roll through that again. And so what I have in here is leaf number 1, which we did some PBR work on last time. But we're going to show you a couple of the things again, and our subsurface is crazy bright. You think y'all remember that as well. We loaded in the color map again and redid our leaf that way and took a little bit of the blue out. So that's just to get us started. I have a second leaf loaded in as well. I don't think we had that in there last week. And that's this guy right here. And the reason we went back to that is because I went online and ended up looking at, sorry about that, looking at some close-up pictures of the actual leaf structure and what leaf we wanted to use. And we also kind of pulled some branch details about this tree. Is that it has little nubbins, I don't know what else to call those, and it has these cones in the springtime. This is actually the flower of this guy. And so I went back and I found a better leaf because the one we were using last week is one that works, but we kind of wanted to mix in more of the shape that had the tooth on there. Okay. And am I too quiet? Should I end up turning up a little bit? There we go. I got I can turn up my mic a little bit if that helps. How about now? Okay. We'll be back at it. All right. So the first thing we want to do is we want to pull together a group of seasons leaves. Now, you don't need to repeat. You don't need to bring in this one texture several times. What you want to do is go into the material editing menu here, and then this is my leaf 1, and we're going to go ahead and duplicate this now that we've got our textures kind of set up the way we want it. And we are going to make 4 of these guys. And I got copy, 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 copy. So what we're going to go ahead and do is double click that and type in, it's going to be our spring leaf. This is going to be our fall. This is going to be our winter. And I left off summer somehow, so we'll go back to this one and make it summer. And slide it down. And so I slid before I entered in that number. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing with leaf 2 since we've got it going. I might set up the PPR a little bit better on that one, so we will revisit that one. All right, so now we've got these guys in order. We're gonna go ahead and click OK, and then on give it a second. Sometimes it does that and it'll recover. This is our beta version 9. I forgot to cover that in the beginning. But this is our all new software coming out very soon. We've got our spring leaf here. There we go. All right. So spring is fine. The only thing we want to do for our summer leaf is swap out the color map. So inside of, excuse me, inside of edit here, we're going to hit that guy there, and we can grab, so I've already made these ahead of time, and I want to show you how I made these fall leaves, but basically just took the green leaf and edited these guys to make our season spectrum. We want to grab probably really don't want to go red just yet. What we really need is a green leaf that's starting to turn yellow. And this is a super saturated version, so probably like edit that down a little bit. So I'm going to take you into Photoshop and show you how I make the seasons leaf for summer. I've got this guy opened up. We're going to add you can add a new layer, or you can go ahead and just copy this guy, which is what we want to do. Okay. And so this is the one that we're going to change the color on, and we're going to make this one just slightly more yellow. I'm going to do the color balance and change this guy up. And it goes a little bit red there. And then we're going to take a brush in the sound effects included. We're going to take our eraser and a very, very soft, large brush, and I'm just going to make the tips yellow and the inside still is going to be green. And then I will save that out as my summer. Birch 1, and we want this to be a pink, and we want to name it the same color. Okay, so you would go ahead and do that for all your seasons. So I went ahead and did that ahead of time so y'all wouldn't have to watch that boringness. We're gonna go back in here and make sure that this leaf is on the tree as well. I am just seeing leaf 2. Might be a small bug in there because I only think I'm seeing the one leaf. Let's just take leaf 2 out for a second. Oh, it just looked similar. There we go. Back on track. Okay, now we got that guy in there, and we are going to go to our cutouts. Make sure that's good. Okay, and then we're back on leaf 2. And we're on our summer leaf, and we're going to grab that leaf that we just made. That's the right there. And you won't see it load in because we have not assigned all of them there or whatever. The next thing we want to do is, it wasn't as pronounced as we could have made it. I can contrast that up a little bit if we want. Make it even a little bit more yellower, and then we're going to switch to the fall leaf, which should be getting pretty yellow. We're gonna grab a one that we've already made yellow, just to help out there. And I think I'm gonna use this one for the winter, even though it's the fall too. Because most of the pictures that I looked at, this tree tends to turn like bright yellow with some mustardy orange russet colors in there, and not really a true fall thing there. So that guy's in there. Since we're on the fall color, we want to make sure our subsurface actually matches the tint that we just added to the color map. And so we're going to go ahead and change this up to more yellow, put a little bit more red in there. And we are going to go to the winter leaf now and grab our last one. And I am going to grab, I think this might be a little too saturated, so we'll bring it down a little bit. It looks like the veining was almost inversed a little bit. So we can just art that up a little bit after we get it on the tree and get it exactly where we want. We want to make our subsurface match again. And so we should have all the seasons in now. And so the next thing we want to do before we get started anywhere is I'm going to go ahead and delete the sets that I have already because I forgot to move those ahead of time. And we are going to add and apparently adding a material set's taking a while. We won't know why, but that's okay. And well, I guess while we're waiting, there it goes. We're gonna add one. That last one, I had them labeled as material set 1 or material set 2. We're just gonna say this is leaf 1 and leaf 2. And we only have 2 leaves on a tree, so that's all we need for right now. There's 2 ways to organize your material sets. I am doing this right now by leaf. I like to set the season up here and just know that each leaf is labeled and set to the pattern that they're on. Sorry, the season that they're on. I just wanted to take a real quick second. I jumped into the stream and I forgot to introduce Amanda, who's over there in the bottom now. And Amanda is our marketing guru, and she's here to answer questions and kind of hang out with me so I'm not lonely. But she's real fun.
This is the Scruggs Amanda show now. Mm-hmm.
Am I unmuted? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Do we have any questions?
Let's see. Danny's getting most of them in the chat. Mostly people are excited to see you make flowers and shrubs and bushes in the future.
Okay. That sounds great. Surely.
Michael wants to know where the black on the leaves is
Oh,
coming
we've got a comment that Amanda looks bored. I'm sorry, Amanda.
I'm not bored.
She can help.
Face.
She probably doesn't want to help.
I'm gonna mute because I have an echo, but I'll be back.
Yeah. Poor Amanda. All right, we're back on track. I'm gonna keep going here. Okay, so we just added our 2 leaf sets, and up here on each leaf we have a seasons card, and these correspond to where they will appear on the tree. So if we look at the season, this would be springish, summerish, fallish, winterish area up here. And I have these little presets in here so you can add them pretty fast. This one's my winter leaf, and I'm gonna put it on dead. And because I only have 4 leaves and I'm not gonna put a ton of transition into this one, I'm just gonna bump it up a little bit, saying that it'll last a little longer. And then we're going to do the same through the rest of the leaves. I probably could have done them in order, but I started with winter. So we're going to hit fall. And we're going to set fall to autumn. And if you remember, we made winter's start right about here. So this is kind of picking up where we need it to be. You could taper it off if you wanted these leaves to survive and be part of winter. But I like to keep my seasons pretty in one area without a lot of overlap so that I can really use the seasonal offsets, which I'll show you in a second. So we're going to do this for the rest. Summer is going to be there. This part is boring, my bad. And this part's going to be spring. And we need some overlap there. I think that needs to stretch out just a little bit more. And you see that's changing because I have the spring leaf is the only one that I have on the tree right now. And so that shows up. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to go to our batch leaves, and instead of just that single leaf, we want to go ahead and add it to the set that we just made. It's going to be leaf 1. Probably should have named those sets. And it's we're going to make sure we're in the right season. And we don't have any leaves showing up, and that's okay. I think that's a bug, and I think that we can get rid of it if I reset the mesh cutout. We're gonna try that. We're gonna see if this actually... Alright, I might need to restart for just a second. So if you will bear with me, I'm going to mute myself so that Amanda can talk to you. And we'll be right back. I'm going to restart.
Hello, can everyone hear me? The inevitable restart. If y'all have any questions, you can drop them in the chat, and I am making a little list so I can interrupt Sarah periodically and have her answer them. Can you hear me, Sarah?
Oh, yeah, I sure can. Oh,
Okay.
I sure can.
For a second when you said restart, I thought you were going to go all the way away.
We seem to have a... It's not liking the value that I've set. Oh. My bad. If I forget to mute Amanda, there's a little echo that happens, and that's fine. Sorry about that. I'm gonna see if we can get a different thing going here. I'm going to put you guys back on a video loop for just a second. All right, I'm back. Can everybody hear me? we got people sharing tree pens now. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we have a small bug in the beta, and that happens. We're just in development right now. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of using our season sets, there's some sort of thing in here that's not liking the season set. So we're gonna go our batch leaves, and you can do this. You don't have to add a set. We're just going to add 4 materials: fall and winter, and then spring. And so now that we have them all in here, we're going to, just to show you on the slider real fast or whatever, now that I have all the seasons set and I have not all the way bare at the end by upsetting the times on this guy. And so what I want to do on the batch sleeve is I'm going to go and make the drop time a little longer so that my leaves stay on a little bit more towards the end. I don't go completely bare on this tree. For a conifer or something, you would go ahead and bump this up and take the variation out. Oh, it's a little extreme there. You could just lower that and the conifer leaves would stay on the tree. But since a silver birch does lose their trees, we're just going to keep a little at the end. And we're going to get rid of this. We want these guys to flow together. So my last leaf on the tree for fall and winter, these guys are just too stark. So we're going to go back to our leaf material. And then we're going to cook the fall one first. And we really want to get that bright golden glow thing going on color wise. And so our fall leaf needs to be a little closer to that. And that winter leaf could be going brown. Let's tone it down a little bit and make it maybe just a little yellower. I don't know if we grabbed the right leaf mesh to be, the right color map, to be honest. I think we might be better off sticking to a more yellow one. And so this golden toned one might not be so bad for the winter because it's kind of dying on its way out. And it looks like our opacity cutout is not quite right on that leaf. Looks like it was made on the back. I grabbed the wrong one. So we're gonna tone that down a little bit and make this one an actual winter golden hue. And set it up real fast again because that file has perished. I don't know where it went. That was it. We had this one on phyllotaxy and we had these guys opposite, and they're not showing up right now because there's too big of a gap. When you switch modes in generation mode for a second there, if you don't see leaves showing up, it's because your settings have them not generated, and they should, every now and again they'll tell you, there'll probably be a little exclamation mark if they're not appearing. All right, we want a lot of these guys on there, and one of the things I like to do first is let's look back at the leaf structure real fast here. These guys are alternating, and they are pretty sky facing leaves, and that fold is pretty prominent on them. So we're gonna go back in here, and first thing I like to do is push them up towards the sky, and that's across the whole tree. I'm gonna change the background real fast so y'all can see a little better. There you go. And we're gonna curl these, and I might gonna move to the spring, so I've got all of the leaves on the trees. You remember right now I'm in the season fall, and so I was setting the generation just now, and I might have leaves that are actually on the tree right now that I didn't see. So you want to model in spring for like actual structure and generation style so you can see what it sees. Don't do what I did. Something's being claimed as the bug king. But I realized that they were alternating, and so this is going to look better for our tree in the long run. So maybe put a few more back out. These guys are leaning out, which is pretty accurate, but maybe they are a little overlappy with each other, so we're gonna kind of maybe do top view, just them get where they need to be. And we're gonna kind of, what I want to do with face is on each individual twigs, I kind of want them to face out so the light will hit that a ways. Maybe curved there. So I don't want one or the other, I guess, here. I'm going to put just a variation in here so they go different directions. I'm going to curl these guys so they go down a little bit and fold them back up a little bit so we get the Pringle shape. And I really want a leaf on the tip of this guy. That strand tended to end with one leaf, and so I'm going to go to the leaf, hit Gen, and we're going to go extend parent and hit any, and now I will automatically have one at the end of the twig. We are getting in there. Okay. This it's looking okay, but we really only have one batch of twigs up here, and obviously there's a lot of detail we're missing out on the actual twigs that have these little knots and stuff in here. But as you remember from last week, we kept our twigs pretty low poly, as you're going to be viewing the tree from back here. And let's go ahead and see what we look like. Really scraggly. And one of the things first off is that my leaves are probably a little too big still. We want to add some size variation in there. So I'm going to go to the skin tab, take the size. I want the leaves on the end of the twigs, probably that bigger twig section, to just get down a little smaller at the end and a little smaller on there, and then we're going to add some variation in there as well. Zoomed way too far back, but we need to be back here for just a second because we've got some scraggly shapes going out here, and we've got our twig branches coming out here. So we need a few more twig branches to fill in here. We're going to go to the Gen tab again, change that interval length. Sorry, internode length. Just to add a couple more of those in there. And then I kind of like to saturate these guys on the tips of the branch so that I got just a few more out there. So I'm going to take the end of this guy and say that I would like these to saturate towards the end of the branch. That's a lot of twigs. That might be too many in the end. And we've got some repeat patterns in here that we might need to break up in the end. Something that will help that is to spiral these around a little bit. I actually like to not do this with a spiral, but actually do the rotate and position of the branch. Add some variance in each of these guys so they're not quite on the nose, and that just helps it look a little bit more organic. We had added this in last week, I think, as well, just a little bit like that. And these branches are going to be our main branches, and we're going to do a second tier of these guys to hold another set of leaves. These leaves look kind of fine. We want a second set of twigs going off. I'm gonna make sure I've got plenty of room for more right now. We're gonna fill out these upper branches now. So I'm actually just gonna copy and paste, real simple. Put them back on there, and I want them to come off of the main set. These guys, sorry about that. And so these are my new ones, and lengthwise we did pretty good. We kind of might want to shorten up that second set a little bit. Got it based on the one before it. I might just take off a little bit of that extra room in there. So these are going to hold like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 leaves, and this will be the main carry out there. And I think we're getting there. We're just not as full as these trees are. So we've got our picture from the other last week. There's little globe areas. There's definitely space in here. They're little tiny leaves, but I'm going to kind of fill that out a little bit more. So, how's Amanda doing? Anybody joining us? Just still there? I guess we're fine. All right. Now that we've got that back on there, and we've got one leaf set with seasons, we can go ahead and we need to repeat the steps for the rest of our seasons, so that other leaf gets mixed in. So this birch leaf too. First thing I want to do is I'm going to drop it on the tree, in these guys as well. And this is normal modes showing, and don't really need that right now. I'm going to turn that back off. We are going to add it in here just so we can see leaf 2. And leaf 2 is so similar in color that it's almost hard to find. We made this cutout last week. We have some extra guys in there. And I'm not seeing the right leaf showing up. So there's that. I'm gonna take the weights off these guys just real fast, just to see if we can get it to show up in there. Oh, it's because it's the one underneath. Not liking leaf 2. Let's see if we can delete this guy's cutout and just make it again and see if it shows up for us. We are going to edit this guy. Might as well actually just go ahead and delete it altogether and just see if that works. Okay, so we'll go back to our material and we will leaf 2 and then edit that guy, and we've got it aligned. I'm just gonna try to get it in place, and I'm gonna move these around because I'm feeling kind of lazy. And this bottom point needs to be on the stem. And this leaf texture is pretty good because that stem is gonna give us a little bit of detail that that other leaf did not have. I'm gonna be real greedy with my polygons in these leaves just because I can. And it's gonna be a little uneven unless I do that. On the other one, I gave it a lot of polygons as well. I just feel like I don't have that many leaves on the tree and I can afford it. And if we need to drop them later, we will. So that'll be my high, and then I'm going to take out. I should have done that. Didn't want the fold and curl to be still in place. And then I'm going to knock out these guys. And there we go. And let's see if that will show up now. Changing. Our gloss is too dark on these guys. I think we had that problem last week. This dark max just really like dark. Oh, we lost Amanda apparently. I'm gonna see if I can hook her back up in here. I think it's just her video camera. So yeah, Amanda bailed on us. That's okay. We'll just keep going. We still have Danny in the chat. And there we go. All right. I don't know what went there. I think she just left for a second. That's fine. That's fine. All right. We've got our this is much more of something we do on games trees to make sure everything's lighting correctly, but I've got like little sparkly bits going around, but I really could use a little bit more. These leaves are just kind of falling flat. And so while these leaves might not be this glossy in real life, I think we can kind of push this a little bit. One of the things I'm going to do for that is, I think we did this last week too. I'm going to add a little bit of parent puffiness in there, and to emulate that these are facing different positions. But this is just going to help this pop a little bit. This normal was kind of weak. We boosted that up last week so we can get some ridges in there. When we do details in the normal, the more exaggerated these are with the glass, you're going to get it smaller sparklies. Sparklies is a very technical term, versus a broad, which is what we were seeing a second ago. When we zoomed back, it was just the entire leaf was lit. And so I think that'll help us out a little bit in the long run for the actual look on the tree. The detail just helps a lot. I think we still have, this gloss map just doesn't have a whole lot of information in it, so when I brightened it, it's not really doing a whole lot for us there. I think that value is just a little bit darker. We'll see how that looks in the regular mode. Alright, second standard, these are a little brighter and just have a little more life to them now. And my subsurface, because we loaded in the same map we can do that same thing with the one that we just made, the summer, so it has the right tip, so yellow in that way. And then we can check that from the other side. Acceptable summer, spring, fall, and winter. And what we want to do is that no tree changes like that. We need some variation in there. And the two ones that we need a lot of variation are the fall leaf. We're going to go ahead and go to the settings. And we're going to add some variant colors in there. So we're going to add a kind of a mustardy brown or yellow, I guess. And these are going to be very faint. We want a very pure yellow. And we want just a lighter version of the yellow, I think, with a little green in it. We'll try that and see if that works. I'm not seeing quite what I want just yet. Maybe saturate it a little bit better. We'll just see what that looks like and put just a little bit of these guys on there. And one of the things that you want to notice when you add these variations on there, if you do this, you're going to lose all of the detail in your leaf. Think of this as like an overlay color, sort of just like what we made in Photoshop. But these values we want to keep pretty low. It's going to just help the transition color out a little bit. Because I have these variations in there also, these leaves are going to be exported out for you. If you were doing a game tree, variations would cost you something because this new leaf has to now fit in your atlas, so just be aware of that. For VFX, we were just going to go nuts because we can have all the things for a VFX tree. And we want to do the same thing for winter. And I want some good brown tones in here just to make it actually look like it's dying, more russet orange maybe. Get fancy with our colors names. Keeping it in the gold family though. And maybe just a brown. We'll see what that looks like. It might be a little too much. Move it to the season, winter. And we're okay. On the winter leaves, I like to make them look a little wrinkly. And so I do that by really making the normal angry. I might even do something crazy like that. And the gloss was cut down, which is fine. I'm gonna make it like as bright, but you just need to remember to get your PBR correct on the first leaf before you copy it. Don't be me. And I think it's a little too extreme. All right, so we want to make this transition like an actual tree would, not just one color at a time. And so I'm going to zoom back again and go in the spring season, and we're going to do something called the season offset. And I like to start big and work my way down to the little branches, and I kind of find that less is more with the offsets. So if we wanted to do something neat, like have the tips of the branches turn, or have clumps turn, we're going to go into the branches. This second level of branches here, the big ones, I am going to go to my material, and this little section right in here is where we do offsets. And descendant offset is what I'm going to be using a lot of. You can see it's already on a little bit. This pushes the timeline, but lets me use parent curves to push each branch into a different part of the timeline. And so what we want to do here is, if we were to push this all the way out, we would be in winter. We can push it a little bit. And I'm going to say, according to the main trunk, which is this area, it is named branch right now because I didn't rename it. But according to the trunk, at the top of the tree, I want them to turn before they turn green on the bottom. And so I've offset the top of the tree, and I don't want the bottom of the tree to turn. I just want them to be on the regular timeline. And so something like that will get us yellow up here faster. It looks like, just give me just a second, I'm gonna fix. I'm moving people. There you go. There we go, back on track now. I was cutting off. All right. So now when we scrub the season slider, it should see some fall action up there at the top. And I probably put that on a little bit too much. I'm going to drop that down a little bit. And as always, the variance in here is what gives us the different colors across the board here. So I like to add a lot more variance in the upper part of the tree as well. So I'm going to go a little higher in the tree and grab these branches, and I'm going to add just a variance number there, a little higher. And I'm going to, the difference between these two variations is that if I do the bell curve, the color saturations will stay closer together throughout here. So instead of having green, yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow kind of spread out throughout the tree, I can have a more gradual sectional group of leaves that are turning yellow. And so we're going to do that and put it on cohesive and just see what we get there. Okay, and we're going to turn off the select just because it's hard to see, and we're in summer right now, so we kind of turned pretty fast for this tree, but that's probably okay. So now we have even that little difference there of having some of the summer leaves in our spring. Helps this tree actually look alive, like normal, that it's dying and changing, and it got some brightness going on there. And there we go. If you want to see the leaves on the ground, if you hit the show drop trees, you can't have an animation exported out, just so you know, for seasons, but these leaves will actually go out with your export if you want them there. And you can control how many stay in the scene as well if you're watching your palette count. So this is quite a bit, and how I would edit that, and I would grab these together and go to material, and we've got all these controls down here for how long they stay on the ground. I can have them stay not as long, and I'll end up with less of them. I can spread them out, and if you zoom in on them, they're kind of like little Lay's potato chips kind of floating up here. You can flatten these guys, and if you were going to make a tile, or if you just needed to stamp this on like a decal in your scene, that's a real fast way to do that. And we're back on track. And I'm going to mute myself for a second and just kind of catch up on the, if we have any questions coming from Amanda. Hello, Amanda.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's see. Haven't had a question in a while. If anyone has one, I'm keeping an eye on all the chats to see if I can bug Sarah with anything. Sarah, what did you say you were catching up on right now?
I was just kind of reading through the questions, making sure I didn't miss anything because I was going pretty fast. Cool. So
yeah, you were going
I don't see
fast.
like any specific seasons questions, so I'll just keep going. I'm not muted, right? Y'all can hear me, right?
Cool. No, we can hear you.
Okay.
I still have an echo though, which is just my vibe
I've
for
been
the stream,
trying to get that out, but it's my fault. All echoing is my fault. Sound's a complicated thing, folks. So, and the squeaky chair. I could do this a little bit more. All right. There is a texture question. It seems like I'm gonna see if I can find it for you guys real fast. Scrolling back up. Okay, we're talking about exporting. The question here is, when I export the texture and use 4K, it doesn't seem to get 4K output, especially the trunk and the wood part. One of the things we didn't really touch on when we set up these textures is that thought I turned that off, but apparently I didn't. I'm going to save really fast just to keep progress. Really good to do every now and again. And, all right, so in your material window here, you have a resolution. Didn't mean to do that, but now I got the display turning off. I might need to reopen up a window and just see if that brings it back. There we go. The streaming experience has gotten a little bumpier than our last one. We are streaming babies. I'm at that age where streaming is confusing. People actually watch streams. Alright, we seem to be back up. My material bar seems to be showing, so we should do there. Alright, there you have a, this is your display resolution. And so when you export these guys, you're going to choose whether these get packed into a new material or if you're going to keep them separate. So if you want to not lose resolution when you export, you can go File, Export to Mesh. We were going to save this as a, just pick an FBX just for kicks and giggles. What we want to do is group out everything. Include the variations. I think we want to do. Okay, good. That question seems to be that the 4K doesn't seem to be 4K, and if you're asking about our tree textures that come with SpeedTree, there we go. Too many windows doing different things with me. All right. So our tree, like if you were to purchase a tree on the store, our cinema tree has 4K leaves. Our barks are going to be 8K. If you purchased a game tree or you're using a tree that's been for the games, our textures are a little smaller for the games just for performance. So some of the leaves in there might be more like 2K or 1K. And if you have an actual export issue, if you don't mind just sending that to support at speedtree.com, we can help you there if you're having something that's coming out the wrong way or it's losing image loss. One of the things you do want to do is keep these created textures divisible by 4. Is going to help you a lot for resolution, interchanging in and out. And so it's probably just an export setting there, and we can definitely help you on that a little bit more specifically. And all we were gonna do today is pretty much get our leaves on this tree. And so I've got about 5 more minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up for today. We have a tree that has leaves on it that has seasons, but we have some awkwardness here that we still want to get rid of, and we would probably keep editing. So one thing is for sure, I don't have enough leaves on the tree. I'm in my high resolution, and I want this tree to be about 1 million on high, and so I'm gonna spend them. We added a bunch of twigs, but we seem to be missing some in the areas down here, and that's creating some of the spaces that I'd like to fill out. We also have some skinniness going on here that I'm going to go ahead and make a little bigger. So we had the resolution 1, so I actually need to make the branch before it a little bigger. I'm going to have it not taper so hard. Let's see if we can get some more back in there. And then these guys tend to be all doing the same motion down. And so I think that if we repeat this tier of branches, that will help us fill out the tree a little bit. I like the shape that we're getting from these. I just want to have 1 or 2 fill branches, and I want them to be a little chunkier. So what I'm going to do is I'll go to this guy, I'm going to add from templates, going to add a branch. That added a pretty great amount for me. That's kind of what I was thinking, but I put them on absolute 1, so I guess I just don't need that many. But I want to keep these big branches kind of farther in on the tree. So I'm going to push the last down, and I want them to go up to fill out these places here. So the first thing I'm going to change is the start angle to go up a little bit more, and then I'm going to actually have gravity kind of pull these guys up, and then I'm going to turn the gravity off for the end of the branch. Getting a little crazy there. There we go. He's doing a little curve. And then we're going to make these a little bit more varied in their length. And we're going to actually just repeat this whole thing and see what we get. And let's help in there. One of the things we didn't check before is our subsurface is a little wonky right now. We really want a true green light color when the light shines through it, and right now it's kind of reading gray, flat green, not very pretty. So we're gonna take our summer leaf and we're going to make it take out that and just make it a little brighter and make it a little greener. Let's see if we can't get something a little bolder in there. And we talked about this last week, but one of the tricks you can do, got one leaf that doesn't seem to be rendering right. Looks like I have a bad map in there as well from redoing this. So we're just going to put the green back on there. And we are going to I guess that was the same, right? Keep the saturation in there a little bit. Way too lime. Different leaf altogether. And so one of the things that's happened here is I've lost the detail, and we ended up just loading in our own. We were kind of missing our subsurface map. If you want to doctor this map, opening up the subsurface, this is a neat trick we like to do, but if you duplicate this layer, and on this one, you can add a gradient in black and white. So you can take this guy and grab that. We want it to be a round one, which is already selected too. And if I just do something very, very soft, there we go. Taking a little while to get it right there. And then I'm going to overlay this. So I'm just put the opacity down a little bit and then do an overlay. And this is going to cut down on the light coming through on the inside of the leaf. And sometimes this is a better look. You can do a lot with these guys, just help get a little bit more detail in there. And the one that I have loaded in, it's birch leaf 1, and so that's also a problem. There's an error in the subsurface map as well. This stem part should really be the black part. I believe we switched that on that one. But probably okay there. We're just going to turn this down for now. We really want a different map in there that gets us a little bit more detail. Can I see if the color map will work first or second, and see how much we can get out of it if I exaggerate it. I'm going to invert it so the stem is black, and then bump up the brightness just a little bit. I'm losing information, so I don't want to go too crazy. And we're getting there. Needs a little bit more tweaking. You got, oh my god. Alright. Well, that's going to be our finished tree for today. It's 4 o'clock and we're going to stream for an hour. And we probably tend to teach these guys, we're going to keep these guys at 1 to 2 hours max. Pretty much all we did this season. So what we're going to do next week is we are going to take this VFX tree and we're going to tell you how to reduce it and how to make it a games tree. So probably won't get too far into that, but if you are a game artist and want to tune in, that's where we're headed. And I don't see any questions pertaining to the stream, I guess, except for release questions. I'm going to let Danny give those in chat. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks, Sarah.
Say bye.
Bye.